Biology Final Exam, Portion 2. 50 more to go and you will be done. Number 51. In gerbils, brown fur is dominant to black fur. Which Punnett square shows a cross between one brown fur gerbil and one black fur gerbil that could produce offspring with black fur? If you need to on these, write out the problem on your answer sheet. Number 52. Which parts of this Punnett square would contain the genotype that results in the expression of only the recessive phenotype? So parts 1 and 2, parts 1 and 4, parts 2 and 3, or parts 3 and 4, the recessive phenotype. Number 53. Hemophilia is a recessive disorder that is sex-linked and occurs on the X gene. Which offspring will likely develop hemophilia? Is it offspring 2, offspring 4, offspring 1 and 2, or offspring 3 and 4? I want to know which one will most likely develop hemophilia. Number 54. Which function is characteristic of RNA but not of DNA? Is it A, transports, B, it replicates itself, C, it transports amino acids, or D, it carries genetic information? Number 55. A strand of DNA that contains the bases TAC, GAT replicates. Which base sequence is the new strand produced during replication? And we are doing DNA replication here. Is it A, ATG, CTA, B, AUG, CUA, C, TAC, GAT, or D, CGT, GGC? Number 56. As a result of base pairing in DNA, there is the same number of which two bases? A, guanine and thymine, B, adenine and cytosine, C, adenine and guanine, or D, guanine and cytosine? Okay, number 57. Study the nucleotide sequence below. Consider the nucleotide sequence above. Which nucleotide sequence below represents the corresponding portion of the RNA? We are actually just looking at this strand right here. What would be the corresponding RNA? We have ACG, CAGT. Would it be CTGCGTA, B, GAC, AGCU, C, TGC, GTCU, or D, UGC, GUCA? Number 58. Which sequence represents a DNA strand that would complement the following mRNA strand? So you are going from mRNA back to DNA. You have CAU, UGC, AUG, CCA. Is that A, GAU, ACG, UAC, GGU, B, CUA, UGC, AUG, CCA, C, GAT, ACG, TAC, GGT? Or is it D, CTA, TGC, ATG, CCA? Number 59. Which student correctly identified possible percentages of nucleotide bases that could be present in a complete sample of DNA? Okay, so is that student 1 has 35 A's, 15 T's, 35 G's, 15 C's? Student 2, 20 A's, 30 T's, 30 G's, 20 C's? Student 3 has 15 A's, 15 T's, 30 G's, and 30 C's? Or is it student 4, 10 A's, 40 T's, 40 G's, and 10 C's? Number 60. What preserves the genetic code from one generation to the next? A, DNA replication, B, RNA translation, C, protein synthesis, or D, enzyme activation? Number 61. Which student has correctly classified each plant? Student 1 says an oak tree is monocot, corn is dicot, dandelion is monocot, and corn is monocot. No, I'm sorry, carrot is monocot. Student 2 says an oak tree is monocot, corn is dicot, dandelion is dicot, and carrot is dicot. Student 3, oak tree is dicot, corn is monocot, dandelion is monocot, and corn is dicot. Or student 4, the oak tree is dicot, the corn is monocot, dandelion is dicot, and carrot is dicot. Number 62. Which process is prevented from occurring when the stamens are removed from an angiosperm? A, self-pollination, B, cross-pollination, C, sexual reproduction, or D, asexual reproduction? Number 63. Study the leaf below. A plant with the leaf venation pattern shown would be classified as A, dicot with 2 cotyledons, B, dicot with 1 cotyledon, C, a monocot with 2 cotyledons, or D, a monocot with 1 cotyledon? Okay, 64. A class observes an unknown plant and discovers that the plant seeds have only got 1 cotyledon. When the class examines the leaves and stems, what will they most likely find? A, parallel veins in a ring of vascular bundles, B, parallel veins and scattered vascular bundles, C, a netted arrangement of veins in a ring of vascular bundles, or D, a netted arrangement of veins and scattered vascular bundles? Okay, 65. Why are non-vascular plants typically smaller and shorter than vascular plants? A, non-vascular plants use mitosis to produce cells. B, non-vascular plants use photosynthesis to obtain energy. C, non-vascular plants lack tubes to transport materials. Or D, non-vascular plants lack deep fibrous roots to obtain water. Number 66. Study the table below. Which plant is an angiosperm? Is it plant 1? Wind is the main method of pollination and fruit is the location of seeds. 2, wind is the main method of pollination and cones are the location of seeds. 3, insects are the main method of pollination, and fruit is the location of seeds? Or is it 4, main method of pollination is insects, and cones are where the seeds are located? Number 67. A new organism is discovered. After careful observation, scientists conclude that it is a mammal. Which two characteristics would the organism possess to lead the scientists to this conclusion? A, an endoskeleton and scales. B, an exoskeleton and asymmetry. C, fur or hair and warm-blooded. Or D, have live young and radial symmetry. Number 68. Which group of animals contains members that move using cilia and flagella? A, birds. B, protists. C, mammals. Or D, amphibians? Number 69. 4 students each examine different animals and report their information in the table below. Which student correctly identified 2 characteristics of an amphibian? Student 1 says that they're covered in dry scales and they're ectothermic. Students 2 said they're covered in hair and they're endothermic. Student 3 says they're covered in feathers and they're endothermic. And student 4 said they have moist skin and they are ectothermic. Number 70. Study the table below. Which organism is most likely a clam? Organism 1, it's an endoskeleton. It has gills and skin, and it lives in an aquatic habitat. Student 2 says it has a shell and gills, lives in an aquatic habitat. Organism 3 says it's an endoskeleton. It has lungs and skin and lives in a terrestrial habitat. Or student 4 has shell and lungs and lives in a terrestrial habitat. (71) 4 students record data in a chart comparing mammals and reptiles. Which student has correctly classified the 2 classes of animals? Student 1 says mammals are warm-blooded with fur and reptiles are cold-blooded with scales. Student 2 says mammals are cold-blooded invertebrates and reptiles are warm-blooded invertebrate. Student 3 says mammals are warm-blooded with lungs and reptiles are cold-blooded with gill. Or student 4 says mammals are cold-blooded and give live birth and reptiles are warm-blooded and lay eggs. Number 72. Study the picture below. The whip-like structure on this organism is most likely A, excreted waste products, B, an organelle for observing food, C, used for locomotion, or D, an adaptation for defense. What was that little thing on the end used for? Okay, 73. Which example best describes mimicry? A, moving to a new location to obtain food. B, appearing to look like a different animal. C, catching prey with sharp teeth. Or D, keeping warm with thick fur. (74) Animals hibernate for many reasons. What is one reason animals would not hibernate? A, to conserve energy. B, to avoid harsh climate conditions, C, to locate prey, or D, to survive when food is hard to find? $75. Study the two animals below. The hoverfly and the wasp have similar coloration and physical characteristics. However, only the wasp can defend itself by stinging potential predators. Which type of protective adaptation is demonstrated by the hoverfly? A. A stinger, B. Mimicry, C. Camouflage, or D. Counter shading? $76. A walking stick is an insect that resembles a stick or a branch of a plant. What is the best description of this protective adaptation? A. The walking stick is attracting a mate. B. The walking stick is searching for food. C. The walking stick is preparing for hibernation. Or D. The walking stick is camouflaging itself from predators. Number 77. Some species of lizards change their body colors to resemble their environment, inflate their bodies or throats, or secrete substances to mark territories. Which of these protective strategies is not an adaptation of the lizard? Is it A. Migration, B. Camouflage, C. Physical change, or D. Chemical defense? $78. The diet of a species of bird consists mainly of small rodents. Which type of beak would this species of bird most likely have? $79. If the producers in a community provide 10,000 kcal of energy, approximately how much of the sun's original energy is available for the secondary consumers? Is it A, 10 kcal, B, 100 kcal, C, 1,000 kcal, or D, 10,000 kcal? Number 80. Producers have greater amounts of energy available to them than primary consumers. Which statement about producers is not correct? A. Energy is released by producers as heat. B. Energy is created by producers. C. Energy is used for metabolism. Or D. Energy is used for active transport. Number 81. Study the food chain below. Which statement correctly compares the available energy between trophic levels in this food chain? Remember, you start at the bottom: algae, crustaceans, puffins, great black-backed gulls. Is it A, energy is highest in algae and lowest in great black-backed gulls? B, energy is highest in great black-backed gulls and lowest in algae? C, energy is highest in crustacean and puffins and lowest in algae and great black-backed gulls? Or D, energy is highest in algae and great black-backed gulls and lowest in crustaceans and puffins? $82. Which statement best explains why the snowy owl and the Arctic fox can occupy the same trophic level in a tundra food web? A, they have light coloring. B, they hunt at the same time of year. C, they eat primary consumers. Or D, They take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Number 83. Study the food web below. Which organism receives the most energy from corn? Is it A, the fox, B, the owl, C, the snake, or D, the chipmunk? Number 84. Which series correctly models the flow of energy in an aquatic food chain? Is it A, plankton, sand eel, striped bass, cod? Is it B, sand eel, cod, plankton, striped bass? Is it C, striped bass, cod, plankton, sand eel? Or D, cod, striped bass, sand eel, plankton? Number 85. Study the diagram below. What is missing from the nitrogen cycle shown? Is it A, air, B, rocks, C, viruses, or D, bacteria? What is missing from this picture? '86. Which sequence is part of the carbon cycle? A, transpiration, B, evaporation, A, transpiration, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, B, respiration, photosynthesis, organic decay, coal formation, C, combustion, evaporation, respiration, condensation, or D, decomposition, infiltration, plant uptake, and consumption? '87. Study the water cycle below. Which process in the water cycle is represented by the X? Is it infiltration, condensation, freshwater storage, or groundwater discharge? What goes along with precipitation, surface runoff, ocean evaporation? Number 88. Study the diagram below. Which numbers in the diagram represents the movement of water vapor? Is it 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 4, or 3 and 4? Which of those represents water vapor? '89. Study the table below. Which statement correctly identifies processes in the oxygen cycle? So student 1 says burning fossil fuel uses atmospheric oxygen and raccoons breathing releases it. Student 2 says the ozone forming uses it and forest fire burning releases it. So student 3 says lighting a match uses the oxygen and wheat growing releases it? Or is it student 4? Trees growing fruit uses oxygen and wolves howling releases it? Number 90. Only 10 more to go. You've got this. Which of the following biomes has the lowest annual precipitation rate? Remember, precipitation means rain. So which of the following biomes has the lowest annual rain? Is it A, the taiga, B, the tundra, C, the deciduous forest, or D, the temperate grassland? Number 91. Which statement describes grassland soils? A, they have a low level of nutrients and a dry, thin layer of topsoil. B, they have a low level of nutrients and an acidic, thick layer of topsoil. C, they have a moderate level of nutrients and a moist, thin layer of topsoil. Or D, they have a high level of nutrients and a dark, thick layer of topsoil. 92. Study the table below. Which biome is represented by these data? Okay, this is the monthly precipitation for an area with a temperature ranging from 26 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. Is this A, the desert, B, the tundra, C, the rainforest, or D, the grassland? Okay, number 93. Study the list below. Which biome is described by the characteristics included in this list? Has cold winters, located across northern latitudes of North America and Eurasia, patchy permafrost, drought-resistant plants, numerous lakes, ponds, rivers, and bogs. If you are listening and paying attention for number 93, write down the answer C. 94. Study the list below. Which biome do these factors best describe? Sandy soil, precipitation ranges between 2 to 4 centimeters annually, which means all year, within a year. Summer temperatures range from 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. Animals include kangaroo rats, rabbits, skunks, and burrowing owls. Is that the A, semi-arid desert, B, deciduous forest, C, tropical rainforest, or D, temperate grassland? Okay, 95. Which situation is caused by a density-independent limiting factor? A, the influenza outbreak of 1918 and 1919 that killed over 20 million people. B, the cones of a jack pine needle heat from fire to help release seeds. C, a parasite alters reproduction in a woodpecker population, causing fewer births. Or D, a queen bee regulates the number of eggs she lays according to the amount of food available. Number 96. Which limiting factor is density independent for rainbow trout? A, the size of the stream. 96. Which limiting factor is density independent for rainbow trout? A, the size of the stream. B, the competition for food. C, the spread of parasites. Or D, the supply of dissolved oxygen. Number 97. Which statement best describes the relationship between natural disasters or human-caused disasters and population size? A, natural and human-caused disasters are density-dependent factors. B, natural and human-caused disasters are density-independent factors. C, human-caused disasters are density-independent, whereas natural disasters are density-dependent. Or D, human-caused disasters are density-dependent, whereas natural disasters are density-independent. 98. Which relationship best identifies a density-dependent limiting factor? A, bobcat population declines due to disease. B, a fish population declines due to severe drought. C, a bird population declines due to pollution. Or D, a wolf population declines due to cold weather. Number 99. Which statement best explains why a disease may affect one population more than another population? A, because disease is a density-dependent limiting factor, a larger population makes it easier for the virus to spread from person to person. B, because disease is a density-independent limiting factor, a larger population makes it easier for the virus to spread from person to person. C, Because disease is a density-dependent limiting factor, climate can influence the disease, making it more or less effective. Or D, because disease is a density-independent limiting factor, climate can influence the disease, making it more or less effective. $100, the last one, you've made it. Study the table below. Gypsy moth caterpillars can destroy trees by eating too many leaves and making them susceptible to disease or drought. Which student has correctly identified the density-dependent and density-independent limiting factors associated with an invasion of gypsy moth caterpillars? So student 1 says density-independent is the population, density-dependent is the disease, and density-dependent is drought. Student 2 says the population is density-dependent, the disease is density-independent, and the drought is density-independent. So student 3 says the population is independent, the disease is density-independent, and the drought is density-dependent. Or is it student 4 says the population is density-dependent, the disease is density-dependent, and the drought is density-independent? Now that you are finished with the exam, please take this time to look back over and ensure that you have answered all the questions. Make sure that your name is on the test and check back through it to make sure you don't have any other questions.